Good evening, a warm welcome to this news bulletin. Let's take a look at the headlines. 1,793 officers of the police force awarded the President Long Service and Good Conduct Medal. Discipline, sacrifice, devotion to the country highlighted. Fight against colon cancer. The Ministry of Health is organizing a two-day conference on the topic as from tomorrow to come up with solutions in collaboration with international experts. The Prime Minister and his government are putting into practice the messages of the Vedas, sacred texts for a harmonious society despite difficult times. This was stated by the President of the Arya Sabha Mauritius during Shravani Mahotsav Purnahuti at Rivière-du-Rempart. The funeral of Queen Elizabeth II will be held on September 19th in London. The Queen's coffin has arrived in Edinburgh, where thousands of people have been waiting for hours to pay their respect. Discipline, sacrifice, devotion to the country, qualities that a true soldier possesses. At the Anjali Stadium in Mapu yesterday, 1,793 police officers received the President Long Service and Good Conduct Medal in the presence of their relatives and the executives of the police force. The Commissioner of Police, for his part, praised in particular all the officers and also those who lost their lives in duty for their selflessness, hard work and resilience in the face of adversity.
The police parade is a moment filled with emotion for the ones close and dear to the officers engaged, and even more so for those who have lost a relative on duty. Vedushi Ramesa lost her husband 3 years ago. He was honored posthumously. She was thankful to authorities for remembering her husband, but she really wished he had been here to collect it himself. Rina Dukaran said to miss her husband, who was rewarded for 20 years serving the country. The Long Service and Good Conduct Medal rewards the selfless commitment of police officers and acknowledges service to the country and the population. 1,793 officers were decorated. Sanjeev Kumar Dulara joined the SMF in 2021 and rose through the ranks and is now a CI. He thanked his family and officers who motivated him. For Marie-Désirée, Christina, Soupray and Perrine, it's not a job you choose to do because you're out of options. You need to like it. It's her childhood dream and she's proud to have reached here. Vikraj Mangru underlined that they are here to perform their duty, which will go on, and it's good to receive appreciation for hard work. They are here to remain engaged for the society, as dedicated as ever for the country. The guest of honour at this honorary ceremony, Police Commissioner Anil Kumar Deep, praised the role of his officers who put their lives at stake on land, in the air and at sea to keep the country and citizens safe.
According to the Ministry of Health, 318 cases of colorectal cancer were recorded in 2020 compared to 245 in 2014. In its fight against cancer, the Ministry of Health will organize as from tomorrow a two-day conference on colorectal cancer, also known as colon cancer, at the Sofitel Hotel. Several experts in the field will be present to find solutions to this disease in the presence of the Minister of Health, Kailash Jagatpal.
Colorectal cancer is the third most common type of cancer worldwide and the second leading cause of cancer-linked deaths, amounting to nearly 1 million per year. In Mauritius, an increasing pattern in cases of colorectal cancer between 2014 and 2020 has been observed, from 130 to 154 cases in men and from 115 to 164 cases in women.
Quand du monde a cancer colon, en ce moment, 50% du monde.
Dr. Suleiman Moria underlined that unfortunately at the moment 50% of colorectal cancers end fatally. A British team will help in the screening, considering that it took 10 to 15 years for the screening program to reach its proper implementation there. They wish to learn to allow screening here within much less time, maybe 2 to 3 years. Symptoms signaling this disease are bowel issues, blood in the stool, fatigue and unexplained weight loss, abdominal pain and bloating.
Countries that have introduced bowel cancer screening have seen a reduction in the incidence and the mortality from the disease. So we're here to discuss with the government and the doctors in your country about how best and how quickly we can implement.
According to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, cases of colon cancer are forecast to hike by 56% between 2020 and 2040, reaching more than 3 million new cases per year. Researchers consider that in a bid to reduce the number of deaths, a proper screening program needs to take shape.
And this inspirational journey of a young Mauritian woman who progressed in her professional career internationally to bag a job as an executive at the COMESA Secretariat based in the Zambian capital. Through her perseverance, hard work and scholarships which she obtained, she is one of the very rare Mauritians to be working for COMESA, the second largest regional bloc with 21 member countries. Our compatriot has been in charge of the social affairs of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa for 2 years now. After a month of prayers and devotion, the families of the Arya Samaj gathered this Sunday morning at Rivière du Rempart for a national Shravani Mahotsav Purnahuti, which is the culmination of this time of prayers. Prime Minister Pravin Jugnauth was among the guests of the Arya Sabha Mauritius. The president of the association, Rajendra Prasad Ramji, recalled the importance of the messages of the Vedas, sacred texts, for a harmonious society, adding that the Prime Minister and his government are putting these messages into practice despite the difficult times.
Families from the 400 branches of the Arya Sabha Mauritius gathered for prayers to close the holy month of Shravan. 120 groups joined the rituals, guided by the priest and accompanied by bhajans, devotional songs. The Prime Minister, Pravin Kumar Jugnauth, participated in this national prayer along with other members from the government and the Indian High Commissioner to Mauritius. During the ceremony, the various speakers recalled the importance of the Vedas in the life of the individual. They wished for prosperity in the country. The foundation has already been laid by the Prime Minister and his government. Those who follow this track don't fear anybody and tackle all dangers to fight ills while working to spare the country from the scourge of drugs, for poverty to disappear forever, and for the country to further draw wealth while heading on the path of righteousness. The president of the Arya Sabha said to be happy to observe that the Prime Minister and his government are working according to the principles highlighted in the Vedas. God's words are the foundation of happiness, prosperity and fraternity to build a better world. The Prime Minister and his government are applying the messages hidden in the Vedas. They have engaged the most to keep peace and harmony in the country despite difficult times. We should applaud the Prime Minister. This time of prayers ended with praises, but before that, the Prime Minister received a holy book on Vedic mantras. The other guests were also honoured by members of the Arya Sabha. Before leaving the premises, the head of government greeted those present.
On to other news now. The Queen's procession has now reached the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh. The end of today's 6-hour journey from Balmoral, wending its way through villages and towns she knew well. Her Majesty's coffin will now lie at rest in the throne room of the palace overnight and then proceed to St. Giles Cathedral tomorrow to allow people to pay their respects for 24 hours. The coffin will be flown to London on Tuesday. The Queen's funeral will be held in Westminster Abbey on Monday, 19th of September.
Final journey and another final farewell. Balmoral Castle in the Scottish Highlands was one of Queen Elizabeth's favorite spots, her summer home, and where her life of 96 years came to an end. Elizabeth's oak coffin lay in the castle's ballroom since Thursday. On Sunday, it began a 6-hour road journey to Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. It left in a hearse, draped in the Royal Standard of Scotland and topped with a wreath of flowers from the Balmoral estate. The escort moved slowly to allow well-wishers lining the route to take part in the moment.
You don't know how you're going to feel when you see it. But it was important for us just to be here.
We're feeling sad and probably, I don't know the word, but we're just happy to be here, to be able to see her in our last journey going past. Just because it's a historical moment and just ones will be able to look back for it in the future.
The formalities are part of a slow move south to London. The Queen's coffin will be flown there on Tuesday, where she'll lie in state for 4 days. The funeral is planned for Monday the 19th at Westminster Abbey. Elizabeth's reign of 70 years, Britain's longest, continues a nearly 1,000-year monarchy, which now passes to the next generation.
India today observed a day of mourning for Queen Elizabeth II with flags lowered to half-mast on all government buildings. Official entertainment events were also cancelled as a mark of respect to the departed dignitary. People in India also paid respects to Queen Elizabeth II. The tourism industry is taking off again in Mauritius with a rather successful revival of the hotel industry. Tourist arrivals for the month of August indicate that more than 557,000 tourists have set foot on Mauritian soil for the first 8 months of the year. Many hotels are gradually relaunching their activities, and some have even carried out a total rebranding, as is the case of Le Jadis Beach Resort and Wellness Mauritius, formerly known as the Angsana Hotel in Balaclava. The unveiling of the hotel's new identity took place last night in the presence of Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Stephen Obigadu.
A new identity, a new breath to properly ring in the summer season. The Jadis Beach Resort and Wellness Mauritius, accommodating 54 luxury suites, unveiled its new imprint.
There we are. Can we have a rousing applause?
Le Jadis Beachfront et Wellness Hotel ici à Balaclava.
They wish to remind the historical link of this region where first travellers dropped anchor in Mauritius to discover the island, even if they settled down elsewhere. They wanted to connect with these Mauritian roots.
Historique de Maurice, retrouver un petit peu nos racines.
For the month of October, most hotels are already fully booked. The recovery of the hotel industry is positive this year, according to Jocelyn Kwok, CEO of Arim.
Nous très heureux, nous très confiants pour la suite.
They are confident for the future, as from October hotels would be running normally, that is pre-COVID normal, added Jocelyn Kwok. Deputy Prime Minister Stephen Obigadu acknowledged the Jadis Beach Resort and Wellness Mauritius's rebranding.
The rebranding exercise we are witness to today is in line with government policy to constantly uplift the Mauritian tourism product. In July and August of this year, we achieved 81 to 82% of recovery rate, and that is extremely satisfactory when one considers where we have come from after 18 months when tourism was at a virtual standstill.
According to Statistics Mauritius, more than 86,000 tourists landed in Mauritius in August 2020. And overall, for the first 8 months of 2022, 557,245 tourists visited our island.
On to some world news now. The governor of New York has declared a state of emergency over polio as evidence emerges that the virus is spreading across the state. Health officials say wastewater samples in New York City and 4 adjacent counties have tested positive for a polio virus that can cause paralysis. Although only 1 case has so far been confirmed, it was the first in the country in nearly a decade. Polio was largely eradicated from the U.S. by vaccinations that began in 1955. Southern California welcomed cooler temperatures and spotty rain on Saturday as a tropical storm veered off the Pacific coast and faded, helping put an end to blistering heat wave. Cooler temperatures and moisture brought respite to firefighters battling the massive Fairview fire about 75 miles southeast of Los Angeles. The blaze has threatened more than 10,000 homes and other structures, but firefighters have made progress and said they expected full containment on Monday. A 7.6 magnitude earthquake shook Papua New Guinea, damaging buildings, triggering landslides and killing at least 5 people. The United States Geological Service said the earthquake struck at a depth of 61 kilometers, about 67 kilometers from the eastern town of Kainantu on Sunday morning. And let's now take a look at some weather news.
Sea level.
General situation: the anticyclone to the south-southeast of the Mascarenes is maintaining a moderate airstream over our region. On the other hand, clouds coming from the east will influence local weather as from tonight. Forecast for next 24 hours: fair weather early in the evening, cloudy periods afterwards, mainly over the eastern part and over the central plateau with few showers. The minimum temperature will vary between 14 and 16 degrees Celsius over the central plateau and between 18 and 21 degrees over the coastal regions. After a few showers early tomorrow morning over the high grounds, the weather will be fair. The maximum temperature will vary between 21 and 23 degrees Celsius over the central plateau and between 25 and 28 degrees along the coasts. Wind from the east-southeast at about 20 km per hour with peaks of 50 km per hour in exposed areas. Sea moderate beyond the reefs with waves of the order of 2 meters. High tides tomorrow 1:43 a.m. and 4 minutes past 2 p.m. Low tides tomorrow 9 minutes past 8 a.m. The sun is expected to rise at 9 minutes past 6 and to set at 3 minutes past 6.
We shall now put a close to this bulletin. Thanks for staying with us. Wish you a pleasant night and a good start to the week tomorrow. Bye for now.